Welcome back, nieces and nephews, to JEWAP, which stands for Just Everything with Auntie Pookie podcast. I'm your host, Sydney, or as many call me, Auntie Pookie. All right, so on today's episode of JEWAP, we have Rudy Felix of Tequila Snobs, aka the Tequila Lion, and John the Stallion. So, welcome, guys. Thanks for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us.
Of course. Guess
Yes,
like
thank
how.
you, Miss.
Of course. So, how have you guys been doing? What have you guys been doing since I seen you guys in New Orleans last? And that was dang in July.
Well, hold on, Auntie Pookie. Hold on. I need to correct something. I need to correct something for the record. You call me the Stallion, and we just need to make sure you call me the Black Stallion. Let's get
Oh,
that
the
correct.
Black Stallion. My
Thank
bad. The
you.
Black
Thank you.
Stallion.
Let's get that on the record.
I was like,
Oh,
I looked online. I was like, okay, the Stallion. First, I thought your name was your name was the VIP sit or the SIP VIP. I was like, okay, which one is it?
I go by a lot of names depending on who I'm talking to, really. So
Yeah, true. Makes sense. Yeah, one of my sisters called me by my full name, and I'm like, girl, why are you calling me by my full name? Just call me by my name.
exactly.
Yeah. So, were you when you guys were in New Orleans? Were you guys at an event or going to an event?
yeah, we were out there doing Tales of the Cocktail. Um, we were invited by some people from the tequila industry, and so we just looked at it as an opportunity to expand our network, create some more relationships. That's
Right.
basically what we do. So I got a hold of John and said, "Hey, we got an event to go to." Neither one of us had ever been to this event, and I had been to New Orleans a couple of times, so
Mm-hmm.
I said, let's go down there, have some fun, and you know, have a new experience. So
Nice. Was it your? Well, you said you've been to New Orleans before, John. Have you have been to New Orleans before that?
No, it was my first time. So
Ooh.
first time out there in the boot. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's nice down there. I love the food.
I
Like
was
oh yeah,
I could live
I would
down
say
there.
like it definitely was heavy though. Depending on where you go, you get good food or great food, you know what I'm saying? I like to look for spots outside the beaten path. We found one from our driver, and we had our Uber driver suggested a spot, and you got to believe him when your boy is nice and thick, you know what I'm saying? you got I got to believe what he say, you know what I mean? So we he gave us a suggestion, and we went over there. It's about 10 minutes away from the city. Really, what's the name of the spot?
called I believe it's called Stuffed.
That's it. Stuff.
Oh, okay.
Get,
Stuffed.
get stuff.
Sounds
Yep.
about right.
Yep.
Yeah, get stuffed. It's
Dang.
the lady there. She created her own business and she creates beignets, savory and sweet.
Hmm.
Ooh, I love me some
And
beignets.
so, me and the stallion put a few down and did a little recording. There's actually a recording of it on our Instagram page. Um,
Okay.
it was quite nice. But John has a little story about we were eating well, everything was going good, and then the stallion ran into a wall.
Yeah, yeah.
What were you doing?
Well, no, it was like Thanksgiving. Like you get a really good Thanksgiving dinner, and then
Right.
at some point midway through, you're just like, "Yo, what just happened?" You just get like real slumped in the chair, like you just
Right.
struggling. It was kind of like that situation where I'm like, "Nah, I'm good." The grandma was like, "Nah, baby, it's gonna get you now." We're like, "Nah, ain't enough food for us." And we get midway through the meal, and the next thing you know, I'm like, "Yo, I, I hit that wall. I'm stuffed, legit." So.
That is too funny. Sounds about right. I'm trying to do that on Thursday when I hit all these houses. I can't wait.
But do you
I
bring food with you to each house, or do you just go and scavenge every house and take food and go?
I just well, it just depends like how good the food is.
Oh, okay.
And if it's like really good, I'm like, all right, I'll take some home. But then if it's like kind of okay, I'm like, I'll just eat here and enjoy the little bit of everything, and then I'm out. So
Mm.
it always I go to the levels of the house too. It's like I know like the best food is probably gonna be at the end, so I go to I always wait for the best house to make sure like yeah, I'm gonna have my food coma there.
Do y'all tend to drink at your Thanksgivings?
Oh yeah, especially at my dad's. Like my
Okay.
dad travels a lot, and he went to Mexico, or him and my stepmom go to Mexico every year,
Hmm.
and they bring back like so much liquor, so we just try all the liquor they bring back.
Oh, okay. Any
Yeah.
do you any of them memorable? Do you have anything that you remember like, ooh, that junk was just crazy, or you just so lit and in a coma you don't know nothing?
Well, one time, so my little sister was graduating college, and my dad was like, "Oh, try this chocolate tequila." So we're like, "All right, tastes just like chocolate milk." We were tearing that up, and all I remember is my sister and I and her friends ended up downtown, just hitting bars and partying. And then I woke up and I had the worst hangover of my life. Like I was dying. I felt like
Oh man, that sounds
it was
about right.
all
terrible.
all that sweet sugar. That's what it does to you when you drink a lot of sweet alcohol.
Oh yeah, and you couldn't taste alcohol, so that made it even like more dangerous. But it
Oh
was
yeah.
so worth it. Um, so I wanted to ask you guys, since you guys met through Rudy's 12 Days of Tequila Christmas giveaway. Um, John, were you already in like the liquor business?
No, actually, well, I was on Instagram, kind of like getting into the whole social media aspect
Mm-hmm.
of what we kind of do now, like So, and as you become a part of the community, you talk and meet the same people online. And then
Yeah.
when he did the giveaway, and then that was our first time like officially like really like connecting. But
Mm-hmm.
I was already in the game, but I'm not as industry as our guy is. So. Um,
Okay.
yeah, I'm technically working the IT world. I'm a nerd. Long story short.
Hey, nerds rule, so that's cool.
Facts. Appreciate that.
You know what I'm saying? They used to have a bad stigma about it back in the day, but now it's like nerds are the best.
Yeah.
So, what made you guys want to get into like the liquor business in general?
You can
um,
tell your story and I'll tell mine.
yeah. So I I also came from IT, but I
Okay.
also have I also have a little time in owning retail, and I had a cell phone repair business. Worked on that side of the telecom world, and then I had some background in radio
Nice.
along with promotion. So the reason why my page did what it did was because of what you mentioned before was the 12 days of tequila. Um, and I did focus on looking to create the contacts and the relationships so I could get into the tequila world as far as sales and business.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so for me, that was the absolute direction I was going.
Right.
So when I looked at it, I was like, I'm promoting and creating a relationship just so I can meet the actual players on the business side.
Right.
And, with that came creating relationships with people out in the community. So that's why when kind of the joke is this: if you win the big prize from my show, you get to hang out with me for a year, because that's what everybody said about John. And I was like, that's not quite what happened. Um, with him and I, we had realized that we had a lot of similar interests.
mm,
So instead of taking up all the time and space on social media and competing, I was like, hey, let's start doing stuff together. So I was going on his show as a co-host, and he was coming on mine. And the whole time in the background, we started planning a show together, which almost took us a whole year.
wow.
So yeah, we took our time to kind of plan it differently, because the first aspect of the show was sit down and talk to some people, kind of like a podcast, but on video.
Right.
Mhm.
Because that was the concept. I was trying to create a podcast since I had my radio background. I was like, oh, I'm going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But during COVID, I had signed up with Instagram to say I want to be one of your beta testers.
Okay.
So an email came across, and let's see, we were all friends already from the first year, and into the second year, I contact John and some other people we knew on Instagram. Our friend Agave Van Gogh does all um, these great drawings and designs for the agave world and the spirits world, and we all jumped on together, four of us, and so we started kind of developing that. And
Right.
then from there, I started, excuse me, doing something called the Tequila Clubhouse. And then I went down that path of that, and then me and John were talking like, hey, at some point we're going to do these together, and that's kind of how we ended up hanging out so much. I mean, we started over a year ago. We met face to face at LA Tequila Fest.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So, and but we just kept throwing things around like, hey, we can't do what's already there because without growing, you don't really go anywhere. So we saw the emulation of our shows, and more shows came out, and then me and John were just like, nah, we're not going to do that. We're gonna step it up. We're gonna create something different. So
right. Nice. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, John?
How I got into this whole space was primarily from my travels. I really enjoy traveling, and through some experiences, I started to get into drinking a little bit more, spirits a little bit more, and then like one trip I was in Brazil. And long story short, I was hanging out with some friends at like maybe 12 in the morning, 12 at night, in a local area, and we were all just sharing a beer. And I was like, with the first moment, and I thought that was kind of crazy that a culture would take one beer and share it amongst like several people, because we don't do that in the States.
Interesting.
And then by the time I was in New York, and basically I was at a mezcal pairing. There's a mezcal bar I used to go to, and they had a pairing with a brand. And the guy who repped the brand was just like walking around, like talking, pouring drinks, and having a good time and laughing. And like he wasn't in suits or anything crazy like that. I'm like, this dude's getting paid to do this, and I was like, yo, that's crazy. Like I'm, paying and spending time like doing this like just for fun, right, out of my pocket. So like, it'll be dope if I get to the point where I can do the same thing. So that was kind of like the straw, and that broke the camel's back. And that was right before COVID hit, or the year before, or that fall before. And then so I kind of like set out on this journey to kind of really start learning more about like alcohol and just the appreciation of it, because it's a story from every bottle, is like what I like to say, because everyone has a story, no matter if it's like vodka or of course tequila and cognacs, they all have stories. So my goal was just to like learn more and help people learn about those stories and stop just drinking to get drunk. So
right, exactly. Okay, that's really cool. That's cool. Now, has tequila been like the base of your guys' platform, or you guys kind of test everything? Because I've been watching like some of your guys' videos and obviously doing my research, but y'all living y'all best life. I'm trying to be like y'all when I grow up. But like, is tequila your main focus, or you guys like pretty much branch out with everything?
The main focus for me, yes. That's been my background. I've been drinking tequila since I was probably early teens, because my grandfather was in a mariachi band.
Oh, that's dope.
He worked at a winery. So in his backyard, there was a big patio where everybody would come hang out after they would do a show, and he had a bar, and I would pour tequila. So what made the joining of John and I even better was that he was, tequila is one of his favorites, but he had to focus on other spirits too. So
yeah. And so like you just said, I love tequila. It's like number one, but I also enjoy like a lot of other spirits, because I'm more about the culture aspect, right? And so in order to appreciate cultures, you got to be able to drink what they drink. So I don't like kind of run away from like other spirits, so to speak. I'll try anything and enjoy, most spirits, but tequila is the most.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So that makes sense. Yeah. Just trying everything. I mean, I'm the same way. I try anything, and then I'm like, oh, if I like it, I do. If I don't, I don't got to try it again. So I completely understand that.
Yeah. And then at the end of the day, though, most of them at some point they kind of cross nowadays, because everyone's doing a lot of collaboration barreling. So at some point they're all going to cross, and it's kind of cool to kind of know, where some of those flavors and aromas come from when they put another distillate in a different, barrel from a different category. So I think it's just good to kind of be familiar with that too.
Yeah, definitely. What is your guys' like favorite, I guess, even tequila or drink overall that you guys have tried?
Go ahead, John. You tell us.
Rudy's like, I like every tequila.
He's gonna say, I already know what he's gonna say. I'm not gonna spoil it.
All right, I'll say.
Go ahead.
I just did a reel on Instagram because people ask me all the time, hey, tequila really well. What's your favorite? So the correct official term for me is the last one and the next one.
Okay, I like that. I
So
like that.
the way that I came into tequila obviously was in the early years of the normal stuff, Jose Cuervo, and to Patron, Centenario, stuff like that. But then
Mm-hmm.
when you get into traditional tequila, my first love became Fortaleza, Siete Leguas, grew into Don Fulano and Ocho Tequila. So some of the older traditional brands, El
Mm-hmm.
Tesoro, G4, but nobody really knows the name because they don't put money behind their marketing like Jose Cuervo or Patron.
Right, right,
So because those brands are owned by bigger corporations.
Mm-hmm.
So when you
right,
get into the traditional side, you're like, oh, these are really good. So for
right.
me, my answer is always generally it's what's in front of me. I mean, I have like 500 bottles of tequila, but
Wow.
there are some go-tos, and there are definitely brands that people put in front of me. And I'm like, oh, I really like this one right now. So
Yeah.
as of this date, I'm drinking high proofs. So
Okay. Nice.
yeah.
I'm kind of the same. I think that, like, I mean, I love tequila. I always tell people it's good for your chest. I always tell people that. Um, every time I drink tequila, my best friend's like, "What is wrong with you?" I'm like, "Let me tell you something. Tequila is good for your chest. Okay, you need to drink it all the time, and
What does
it's
that
always
mean? Wait. What does that mean? It's good for your chest. Wait.
it's just good for your soul. It's good for
Okay. All right. All right.
Good for your confidence, right?
everything for real.
Okay.
Like
Does it clear out your lungs? Like, what are you saying? That's not
it
the right
clears out your
tequila to
whole
clear out your lungs.
it cleans out your whole body. It's great.
Good.
But yeah, I've tried some like old school tequila, I guess you could call it, from
Mhm.
Mexico, and it was really definitely really good, better than like Patron, because I feel like Patron is just like so overrated. Um, and I think too, like I mean, I do like Hennessy as well, just a white Hennessy, but that's
Okay.
kind of overrated too. Everybody just loves that, but I think
Well, which one do you like better, white Hennessy or traditional VSOP?
I like white Hennessy because I feel like regular Hennessy tastes like pennies. So
Mm,
if it's the only thing there, I'll drink it, but like I rather drink white Hennessy instead.
okay. Do you keep one
Yeah.
on deck? Do you keep one in the stash?
Yeah, I have one. When my parents are always bringing me liquor when they go out of the country, but
Wow.
this time they went, they didn't have any because everybody and their mama, grandmama, daddy bought all the white Hennessy. Um, so he brought me back some tequila, and we actually like killed that bottle a couple weeks
But
ago.
what was it?
I wish I remembered, but
You didn't take no
when I
pictures.
find it, I'll send it to you guys in Instagram. But it was really good, and the good thing was it was so smooth, like, and that's how you know it's dangerous. It was so smooth, and you didn't even need a chaser. Like, it was just phenomenal.
Mm.
So I know we have like my dad has a bottle in his bar on Thursday when I have Thanksgiving with them. I'll send it to you guys. But it was you guys probably have tasted it before, but it was really good.
I don't know. I don't drink too much, so I don't know nothing.
Right. This is your first time drinking. What you
Yeah,
mean?
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know if I missed it on any of your guys' Instagram. Have you guys made your own tequila or liquor at all?
No, no,
No.
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 Would you guys or have you guys thought about making your own like tequila or liquor?
That's a loaded term, to be honest. Like, it, the reason why I say that, like, making your own is, or you can say creating your own brand,
Yeah,
but
creating.
like actually making your own is different depending on the spirit that you go for and what you're looking at. And
Mm-hmm.
even then, a lot of times people are not actually making their own tequila; they're sourcing their own tequila. And if you get into like bourbon and whiskey, it's kind of like the same thing. Now, there are some distilleries that make their own, like where you can actually go in. Like I got a guy I know out of San Diego. He makes his own whiskey in a warehouse, basically, right? He rents a still and does the whole thing, the whole 9 yards himself. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people when they go create a brand, they actually go source the distillate versus actually making it themselves. So that's a kind of just depends.
Yeah. If you were to like, you're like, oh, I want to create and distribute and all that and get into the stores. Would it be a hard process?
Expensive.
Somewhat, yeah. It's expensive,
Expensive.
really, is what it is. Like,
Yeah.
because I work on the industry side and I work close with some of these brands, they tell you up front, like, hey, you basically make more money than me until we hit a certain point, because
Oh wow.
nobody thinks about everything that is goes in the process, from the cork to the label to the bottle, and then because the fun part is making the tequila for the
Right.
most part. Everybody's like, hey, the process is great, but then comes the cost, the taxes,
Mm-hmm.
and then the part that
Logistics.
nobody thinks about is the logistics, but there's political part of it. So
Really?
yeah, because some brands, some of the companies are bigger, they have more money,
Right.
so their product may move a little faster than
Yeah.
some of the brands that are smaller. So
All the
there's
political.
that part, but there's a lot to it. So as far as me and John looking at it at any point, it's more of just a, oh, that's good information to take in until we completely know how to do it, because the ones that own it on their own have
Hmm.
a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
It's a resource question.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
That's what it
it's definitely, yeah. And it's it's like somebody who says, I race boats. Well, why do you do that? Because I have the money.
Right. And
Yeah.
it's like,
So
okay, cool. I
Now,
don't.
your question was, hey, if you guys had $30 million and you wanted to start a brand, would you do so? Absolutely. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
yeah.
we don't. I don't know what Ruga has, but I don't have $30 million. So
Right. Me neither.
my
Yeah.
my perspective is a little bit different.
I'm
So
like, whoever
I
that
mean,
person was that won the lotto in Cali, I'm trying to find him, hit him up.
right? Can I be their cousin temporarily?
Right. Right. Now, if you guys, let's say you guys talked about it and you guys got the money and all that kind of stuff, what do you think your flavor would be for your liquor? Like, what would you want to have in it?
Flavor would be from a liquor. Like, so for me, I already have like a concept I would love to do is go around the world and go find random spirits from pretty much different cultures, right?
Mm-hmm.
And kind of bring that to market, like the long lost bottle or clay pot that was hidden in the back of grandma's house, kind of like they do with like old cars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily would like look for a particular flavor. I just want to find things that are interesting that people have never tried, because that's kind of like my purpose and goal, right? Is to expand people's palates. So we gotta go
Right.
find to expand people's palates. That's me personally.
Right. Okay.
That's kind of, we kind of ran into that in Mexico. We ran into a company and a person that was like, hey, they're in the business and they had something nobody had ever seen.
Yep.
So he's doing the exact same thing. He loves and he's passionate about the spirit. So he's about to show everybody, like, hey, nobody saw this, and guess what? Now I'm going to share it with the world. So that's kind of
Mhm.
what John's talking about, is finding that, kind of like Raiders of the Lost Ark. Go and find
Right.
something that nobody's seen in years, that it's
Right.
sitting, because I mean it happens often. I've talked to another tequila brand. They found a 25-year-old mezcal sitting in barrels,
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
and their biggest challenge is saying, when we put it in a bottle to go to market, how do we know how much to charge? Because they're doing the dates based off of what the markings are, and he said the markings weren't clear.
Mm.
He's like,
So
but
like,
we know this. Yeah,
right.
we know it's like 20 something, over 25 years old. So
Mm-hmm.
that's, that bottle right there, you're probably looking at easily $5,000, because it's nobody ever thought, like, hey, in 30 or 40 years we're going to pull this out. And there's a
Yeah.
lot of people that started the project that probably aren't alive anymore. So
Right.
um, so that's one aspect. I mean,
Okay.
the other aspect is you got to look at who the maker is. That's something
Okay.
you got to understand too, because anybody can get a couple $1 million and open up a brand,
Right.
and you can go to market with one of these, what they call a Walmart distillery, where they make a ton of brands. Here, no problem. We'll just do this for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But the quality is what you're looking for. You're looking for people to go, you know what? I want something quality. I want it to have good taste. I want it to appeal. Because when you make something that appeals to the masses, well, now you're just jumping in line with one of these, one of the big time movie makers that launch a brand.
Right.
But
That's true.
you know, you're trying to make something more personal that has your name on it. Then that's, it's probably more about the passion, even though there's a lot of the business on it. I mean, you'd still keep that in context of what you're doing, saying, hey, yes, I'm passionate about it. I can get the right people to buy this and, get something that'll grow like wildfire, but you still want to kind of balance it. So,
Right, definitely. Because then too, you like really need somebody that's gonna be different. Like you said, you want to teach people about like the spirits and stuff. But it's like you want to also, when you're trying to create something, you want a good person to advertise, not just like a Walmart that's like they're just doing it like the back of their hand. They know they can do like maybe the bare minimum, and people might get it or they might not. Because some people still don't know liquor is in Walmarts and all that stuff too. When I found out, I was like, we got more liquor. I thought it was just beer, So
yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. So I'm going back to like your guys touring and stuff. What's your mission when you guys are touring all these countries? Obviously, like tasting liquor and stuff. But what else are your like other missions when you guys travel?
Team No Sleep. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
Come back alive? I don't know.
There you go.
Right.
I mean, for the most part, we're following our passion. One, for two, we're creating relationships around the world that most people don't have the passion to do it. I mean, I know, and another reason why me and John get along is because probably for us as kids as minority, you're taught you need to stay within your guidelines. You need to stay right here. You can't go outside this
Right.
fence.
Right.
And so for years, if you ever watched the movie Shawshank Redemption, these guys were coming out of prison and they were institutionalized. They basically would kill themselves because they didn't know how to function outside of those prison walls. So when you start to educate yourself a little bit more, lose fear, and kind of just challenge everybody who tells you something like, you can't do that. My term all the time when somebody says that says, right, I always tell them, you're right, you can't do that. And they look at me and go, what?
I like that.
Exactly what you just said. You can't do that. And I said, you're exactly right. You can't do that, but I can. So, and they just go, well, that doesn't make any sense. I'm like, you're telling me I can't do something because that's what you believe for yourself.
Right.
And
projecting.
Yeah. And I had that mentality as a kid. I didn't understand it. And it took a little while to kind of go, wait a minute. Minorities can go outside the walls of Oakland. You can go outside the walls of California. So that's kind of what, started doing. It just took a little bit of pushing. But once you get to a certain age, you start seeing more of the world. And I guess that came from me having my businesses in California and starting to understand, like, I didn't have to just be a UPS driver, or I didn't have to work in the taco kitchen. Like, there were businesses and things that my own parents didn't teach me because, my mom worked for a telecom company and my dad was a teamster. So they worked within the walls of what was shown to them, where I kept looking and going, hey, what's on the other side of the wall? How can I go over there and do that?
Right.
So, and then meeting John, he was touring all over to different countries. So I was like, yeah, see, him and I have that same idea. Like, we need to move it further than what people tell us we can do.
Yeah.
Right. I like that. Yeah, and that's good that like not only, you guys stepped out of the stereotype of us minorities, oh, everybody's trying to be a rapper, everybody's trying to be this, instead of like, you're like, nah, I don't need to do all that. I don't need to degrade people to become famous, and I think that is amazing. And I'm gonna start saying that, like, oh no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm the same way. I tell people, like, I'd rather be comfortably instead of staying in the same comfortability that's comfortable. Like, I'm good on all that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just there's so much world to see, and there's so much things to do, so many things you can create. And I think it's just amazing that you guys are, changing that dynamic, and you're also being leaders because you're showing other people of minority, like, look, we're traveling the world and doing all these great things. So y'all can do it too if you really want to. People always tell me, you sure travel a lot. How you got vacation time? I was like, no, but I live in my best life.
Yeah.
Right? You only got one of them. You sure better live it.
Well, not only that, it's like we weren't put on the earth to work our life away. Like, there's too much work.
In one place.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, no.
Why does it exist? if you weren't meant to see it.
Right. And yeah, is it expensive? To a point. Some places are. To get there,
Yeah,
yes. But to be
yeah.
in some of these countries, not really, you know.
Okay.
So
Well, the other part of it, you have to learn how to travel. That's what people don't understand
definitely.
too, because you're shown, hey, to go to Disneyland, it's going to cost you $5,000. Well, hey, if you go to Mexico, it'll cost you half that, and you're in a different country, and you can experience things that most people don't.
Yeah.
Mm.
So,
That's what I went
you
when I
know,
went to Costa Rica. I think it cost us a total of 1,500. That was flight,
Mhm.
hotel, and spending money.
Especially if you go with
yeah,
multiple people for sure.
Yeah, like it was nice. I can't even remember where we were on, like an all inclusive resort, and it was perfect. Like, and
yeah.
our
See,
tour guide took us places, and there, it's really cheap there. So I mean, it was
Mm.
amazing. I'm like, I
that
want
was
that.
that was one of the good things about teaming up with John too, because he had so much experience in planning travel that,
Hmm.
I'll be honest. There's a lot of times where I'm like, okay, we're trying to go here and trying to go over here, and we're getting things arranged, and then he's like, I'm like, shit, I forgot the room, and he's like, oh, I got it. Oh, we're doing this, we're doing that, and I'm like, oh, okay, okay, all right. But he's experienced in that, so that helps the balance too of what we do.
Right.
Because I mean, if you don't notice, sometimes I tend to talk a lot about what we do and the things. Like, I'm not shy.
Right.
I'll be quiet because I'm probably paying attention and learning and understanding what's going on at that point. But once I'm okay, I'm like when I walked up to you in the bar where I met you in New
Right.
Orleans, I was like, what is this girl talking about over here? So,
Right. And then you
you
were like,
know,
"Oh, Sydney, your name is Sydney." I was cracking up. And you were like, "I'm telling everybody I met Sydney in New Orleans." I was just laughing. I was like, and that's why I was like, you know what, y'all's vibe was so dope. I have to send you guys the pictures I took of us.
Oh yeah,
okay,
we ain't got no pictures. Where those at?
Yeah,
See?
so me and my girlfriends, I was looking in my phone because I was like, I know I took a whole bunch of pictures in New Orleans, and I was just randomly looking, and I have a
yeah,
picture of all of us and two of my girlfriends. I'll send those to y'all.
okay.
They're so cute. But yeah, I was like, your guys' vibe is so dope. And then I was like, that's why I was like, I'm about to have a podcast, and I was like, that's why I hit you guys up, like, yo, let's get on here. And then I saw you guys like do so much, and I was like, y'all inspired me. I'm like, that's dope. So
So, yeah, we trying to win. Everybody got to win. We trying to win too. No reason
exactly,
not to.
exactly. So how many places have you guys, if you can count, how many places have you guys traveled, like doing your business stuff?
Oh, just the drinking stuff?
Yeah, just the drinking stuff, like
Oh,
and
okay.
connecting and all that.
John's probably been in more places because of his job, so
Okay.
he travels the world more. So
Yeah. So yeah, I think like my first drinking trip was like specifically for drinking was to Louisville. I went out there to Kentucky for like bourbon and bourbon training and having
Okay.
some experience out there. And then of course, now we have Mexico in the books. I've been to distilleries in like the States and Tennessee and moonshine places and I don't know, like
Yeah.
quite quite a few. I try to go wherever I go. Ireland. It's so I like you said, like I travel for work. So I was in Ireland and I went to like
I saw that. I'm like, that is
yeah,
tight.
yeah, I went to a couple spots out there. So I try to take advantage of, work opportunities, obviously. And then also on my own, I'll go to like without work, I'll just go.
Yeah.
So even
That's
throughout COVID, I was going like at least once a month. I was
oh
somewhere.
yeah, the tickets were cheap
Yeah,
during
So
COVID. Shoot, I might have to send you some money so you can plan my trips.
let me know. I got you. I'm working on it. I got you. Let me know what y'all need.
You
Seriously.
know, because I really love Disney, and I just came from England a couple weeks ago, which was
Right.
crazy.
How was that?
Oh, it was amazing. So my parents are from there. My
Lovely.
dad and my stepmom are from England.
Okay.
My dad's from Swindon, and my stepmom's from Liverpool.
Oh,
We
word.
didn't get to go to their town because their main focus was going to the Broncos game, so that's why we went in the first place. Yeah, I'm like, I like football, but I mean, I like to go to events. Like, I just like the energy and the fun.
Okay.
Um, I do
Lovely.
like the Steelers, but I ain't watched football or kept up with the team in so long. Um, but yeah, it was actually really phenomenal. It was freezing cold though, but
Yeah. True story.
um, it was really cool. The people were just phenomenal. They were really nice. It was kind of hard too because there's a lot of people from different countries
Hmm.
there, and so when we went to certain restaurants, I was like, people probably thought I was weird, but I was really like looking hard at them, trying to see what they were saying because their accents were so like thick, and they were probably like,
Right?
"Why is she looking at us crazy?" And I'm just like, I don't understand like what you're saying. Like they spoke English, but their accent, they're beautiful accents. But it was like amazing. Their fashion is amazing. Um, their
You know,
candy. I brought so much candy back.
you know what's
And
crazy though? I got coworkers that live in like England, and
yeah,
the funniest thing is that they tell me is that like depending on the city, the accents will change. Like
yep,
we like in the States, we're very regional as far as accents, right? Like you from a
yeah.
region, you have an accent, but like they are like literally from town to town. It can the words they say and like the accents can change.
Oh yeah, my cousins that I met out there, one of their accents sounds like they're German. Like
Mm,
he's from Liverpool. And I can't like they call them the certain word. It's almost not necessarily like they're the outcast, but they're just in a certain like
yeah,
category of how their dialect is. But it was
yeah.
pretty dope. And like we were drinking these bomb beers. They're called like Parolini or something like that.
Okay.
Um, and the more drunk I got, I was like, now I can understand you better. It was so funny, but like their accent, I was cracking up. Like, and
So you
they went to the game as well, to the Broncos game, which was pretty cool because in the in England, their home team right now is the Jaguars, and I didn't even know that.
yeah, because Khan, the owner, that's where he's from.
Yeah, I'm like I didn't even know that NFL plays in other countries. That's how uneducated I was on that. But um,
Yeah, the Niners and the
Okay.
Cardinals just played in Mexico on Monday night,
Hmm.
Mexico City.
nice. And I heard someone played in Germany recently too.
Yeah,
Yeah, last week.
So
the
yeah,
Bucks
so I'm
versus
like,
the it was Tampa Bay
Tampa Bay.
Buccaneers. Who was it? I forgot.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, my dad's like, oh yeah, we should just start going to all the countries. I was like, shoot, I'm down. I love traveling. So
Is he paying for it?
but no, since
Oh,
I'm 32 now, and even though I'm the baby, I gotta pay my own stuff.
oh yeah. Well, then I don't know, Dad.
Normally, he when we I think when I was like 22, he paid for like 25 of us to go on a cruise.
Ooh, 25.
Yeah, 20. I got a lot of siblings. Okay, I got 5 sisters, 6 brothers. Like I got a big family.
What?
So yeah,
Next time Daddy's paying for a cruise, you let the stallion and the lion know.
Right.
I
We'll
got
stick in as one of the
like,
kids,
hey,
yo.
I got some distant cousins that y'all ain't met yet, but they want to come.
Sheesh.
I mean, I grew up in Oakland. I could blend in. I'll be all right.
Yeah, we're actually gonna do a cruise next year too. I'm not sure. We're planning it right now. Well, my dad's planning it, so
Okay.
I'm like, just let me know. I'll send my money.
Yeah, I'm gonna figure out my summer trip for this year coming up. I usually take my we got kids, so I usually take them somewhere. So last year it was their first official like passport trip, and then
Oh,
so that was to Mexico. This year I don't know where we're gonna go. My daughter was already talking about, Dad, can you take me to Japan? I'm like, yo, hold on, wait,
oh
wait.
yeah, I'm going to Japan in 2 years. My brother
Yeah,
turned 40, so we're gonna go to Japan for his 40th.
likewise.
Yeah.
It's gonna be about the same time frame I told her. So when she turns about 17, I was like, okay, then we'll go because you can really.
You got teenage kids.
Yeah, my daughter's
First
a
of all,
teenager.
y'all don't even look like. I thought y'all were like maybe in your late 30s. Y'all ain't older than late 30s, are you?
Uh,
I am.
I mean, I'm late 30s. He's definitely younger than
I'm
me.
10 years older than John.
I was trying to give you credit, bro. You just messed it up.
You're 10 years
Oh
older.
no,
Y'all see. Well, y'all look great because I didn't even think that.
Appreciate it.
My kids are grown. My kids are 29, 22, and one's about to be she's 17. So
Wow, y'all got
yeah.
grown up kids.
I
Well,
still
I mean,
have a good time.
it,
A 10-year
it
old.
helps too in what I'm doing, because it lets me I get to see them and make sure they're okay, but I don't have to worry so much anymore because one of them's a senior in high school and that's it, and then she's makes her decision what path she's going to take. So,
That's cool.
um, but yeah,
I
that's why.
y'all on the dad podcast. I'm doing another one about being a dad.
Oh, we got a guy for you to put
Yeah,
on you. We got a guy for you for that too. Not saying like we won't do it, but we have
Yeah,
someone who's really special and has a great story about that. He actually owns a brand, but I think
that's
that'll
dope.
be
I love connecting with people.
that's what
Like
it's about.
I just did I'm doing a segment right now on moms and like the struggles of moms and stuff, and I'm gonna
Mm,
do the same thing as for dads. I just did a mental health podcast for men, and
mhm.
then we're gonna do one with women, and it's gonna be pretty dope. I can't wait. Um, so what are your guys' top 5 places that you traveled that you felt like was your favorite or you guys had the best experiences?
Mhm. I will say I'll give you my top three.
Okay, I'll take
Uh,
3.
five is long. I ain't trying to go through all of them, but
Yeah, you
lot of places.
do.
I would tell you Brazil for sure, number one.
Did you
Um,
go during their Mardi Gras?
I didn't go through Carnival. If I
Carnival?
went to Carnival, it's gonna be hard for me to come back. So
Right. I
let's
want
just keep that 100%. It's crazy doing Carnival. But I went to yeah, definitely Brazil, and then of course Mexico was dope. And then I will say like I actually really enjoyed where was it? I like Ireland actually. Ireland's fun. The people are dope.
Okay.
I mean, I could say like Amsterdam was cool, but like Ireland, the people are like dope. They just like invite. I hung out with a group of like 6 dudes in Ireland. Like they're all like 10 years younger than me, and they're
Mhm.
low 20s, and we went and like ran the streets and was drinking like crazy.
I
And then
did. I did see your post when you went to Ireland, and they were like holding. Was that when you went to? Oh wait, Oktoberfest is in Amsterdam, right?
nah, well, so Oktoberfest is in Germany technically, but
Oh,
like everyone does their own thing with it now, So
okay.
like when I was out there, I did it, but like it was the when I was out there in the spring, I met some cats and we were just all vibing. But every time I go, like it's all love. Like and people get drunk like crazy and they're hilarious, but it's all
Right.
love though. I didn't have no
Dope.
drama, so probably the most interesting moment was when the dude asked me to take a picture because I was black, but it wasn't like a racist thing. It was more like I want to impress my son. So because I met a black dude, I was like, oh, all
You're
right,
like,
cool.
okay, this is not weird, kind of, but cool. I'm in.
Yeah. So anyway, those are
Nice. Okay. What about you?
Yeah, I see. The only way I match up with John and all his worldly travels is I go to Disney World. I go to
I'm
Epcot.
jealous because I love Disney. Okay, I want to go to Disney World so bad.
I mean, I have family that lives out there. So
yeah.
one of my daughters, she lives out there, and we go to Epcot, and we basically drink around the world. They have a lot of great countries that have their food and their alcohol. So, um, but it's funny because there's a T-shirt that says "Friends don't let friends go to the right" in Epcot, and what that means is when you go to the right, the first country you go to is Canada. So if you go to the left, the first country you go to is Mexico. So you start off with a margarita and some shots.
Nice.
So everybody's like,
Fun.
yeah. Um, so Florida, I mean, in itself in the U.S., that's a great place to go. Um, Try drinking when you're one drink, multiple drinks, and for the most part, it's mostly adults. There's not a ton of little kids because little kids don't like it. There's not a lot of rides.
Right.
So, and then I think for me in the past couple of years, one of our probably great experience, fun thing that we did was probably this past LA Tequila Fest in the sense of LA Tequila Fest is on a Saturday, and me and John go almost for the whole week because we have our friends and our people we know out there, and they're just
Hmm.
like, hey, we want to see you on this day, and we want to do this on this day, and we got to hang out with some people that we've only known through the internet
That's true.
for the past couple of years, and
Okay.
one of them is our friend Brian Tequileto out there in LA. He's got one of the biggest TikToks when it comes to tequila, and he has an amazing collection.
Nice.
Um,
That man,
Most people,
yo.
you know, they look at him because they watch him because he's kind of crazy, and I think John even. I think he had an experience in a different country where they were like, "You know that guy?"
Yeah, no, for real, for real. Like,
Really?
and when I was in Belfast, this dude recognized him. The bartender dude recognized him. It was hilarious. It was kind of cool.
That's cool.
So that evening with him, his hospitality, his mannerisms. I mean,
Yeah,
for his wife to say in the middle of the week on a Thursday night, you guys can drink all this tequila, make all the noise you want, and I'm just gonna stay upstairs. I was like, dude, your wife loves you.
and
Right.
the kid was in the house. The kid was down for bed too.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's probably got a couple. I would say like I think he's probably got 2,000 bottles easy,
Oh my gosh. So
Man,
does
and they're not cheap. It's not cheap bottles.
oh I
He has collector stuff,
yeah,
hard to get stuff, and
yeah.
Does he
Yeah,
get
we
like two
walked in.
bottles of everything so he can open one and save the other?
Yeah, for the most part.
So for the most part, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's some stuff he just has to like. It's ridiculous. Like he was pulling out stuff underneath the cabinets. Like I'm gonna say it like this. You know the Tesla tequila. Did you ever see that? You know, like the Tesla cars, they had a tequila, right?
Oh, I don't remember, but I might have.
Okay, it's a big deal. People were like trying to buy it. It's expensive now to find one. It was like what people were probably paying, what, 4 or 5 grand, right? I think is what
Oh
they were saying.
wow.
Really?
Yeah, I think the bottle came out at like 200 or 300 when they launched it,
Yeah,
but
yeah. The
Oh my
markup,
god.
they only made so many.
right?
So
So the resale is so crazy. But anyway, I'm just saying, like to the point where he had so many like so much dope tequila collector's item that he couldn't even find it. It was somewhere in his house. He was like, I don't know where it's at. Like he couldn't
Like I
find
know
it.
I got it, but I don't know where.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just he was digging
Dang,
through his stuff, so it was crazy.
that's
But
crazy.
he's
Do you
dope.
guys have any sponsors like doing all of your work that you guys do?
not necessarily sponsors. We work with enough brands that so like the 12 days of tequila, right? They
Uh,
don't have to give us anything. They could be like, nope, sorry, go away. Like we're
right.
not giving you a bottle. But the way I describe it to companies when I do it is this: we generally will show companies that we've worked with that year or in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And it does two things for us. It lets us tell our followers and friends, hey, we appreciate you, so we're giving away this product. That's
Okay.
from us. Now, on the business side, what I tell the brands is, look, we know you, we've worked with you, we like your brand. So what we want to do is we want to support you at the holiday time to show people this is the brand, these are the brands that you should buy for a gift, a present, trade. People have these get-togethers. Like these are what, because people call me and John all the time and say, hey, I'm at the store, what should I get? Or I'm going to a wedding, or what's a good gift? So
Mm-hmm.
this kind of lets us help promote the brands that we know and say, here, buy this stuff. We're going to give some away, but you can also go buy it. So
Mm.
we don't have sponsors, but we have relationships. So if we tend to say, hey, we want to do a contest, the brands and the relationships we've created, or the relationships we created with the brands, they will give us product to give away, to do a contest or for an event. So
Oh, that's pretty
um,
cool.
so not cash sponsors, like some people they get that as you grow, but we have support. Our brands do support us in that manner.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really cool. That's really amazing. So what do you guys think like is the like your favorite thing you like about doing what you guys do, or what do you like of the most about it?
I would say meeting people. I'm a people. I love people. I think really loves people. I think that's probably the best part because you meet so many dope people from everywhere.
Yeah.
So to me, I would say people is the best part.
Nice.
Yeah, that's probably the absolute number one thing. Having the passion for a spirit the way that we do, especially
Mm-hmm.
the path that I've decided to take. The biggest thing that's different, like when I had my business in Sacramento, the student or the kids would come and say, oh, can you sponsor our team? And I'd say, okay, do this and I'll sponsor your team. Kind of
Right.
make them work for their money.
Right.
And I could call somebody at their restaurant or at their store and go, hey, can I help you with this or trade with this, or can you come help me sponsor this or do an event? That was within Sacramento.
Right.
And now that we've grown in the past 3 years for, meeting each other online and having friends all over the country and at other countries, when things happen like, so Florida has their hurricanes, right? This last
Right.
hurricane kind of curved and went by some people. But now instead of just going, oh, that's too bad for those people over there. Now I'm getting on the phone and calling somebody on that side of the country going, hey man, I just want to see if everything's okay, if you need anything, or, is everything cool? Are you guys prepared? Yeah, yeah. I had a 2 hour conversation with a guy in Jacksonville. It's a friend of ours,
Yeah.
and just got on video chat and said, hey, just checking on you. He's like, man, I appreciate that. He's like, some of my own family don't call and check on me.
Right.
And the relationships that you create from doing that, it makes it, people talk about, sometimes your family's not blood. Well, these people are basically becoming our family over time.
That's
So
so true. I preach that all the time. I tell
yeah,
people, through life, I mean, I've gone through so many things, and I feel like I tell people, even though you want like the people that are blood related to you to support you, you have to create your own family, because you'll literally go down a black hole, because you'll be so depressed and wonder why someone's not supporting you and they're supposed to be your family. And I think too, being in the minority group, um, they always throw that on us. We family, we family, we family, we family. Like, it's like, okay, well, when I needed help, where were you?
yeah,
And it's like, so I definitely agree with you on that. It's like creating your own family, because at the end of the day, like, we're all human. Yes, we were
yeah,
born into a bloodline, but like, I mean, I have so many sisters that are not my sisters, but were blood related, and I'm happy that they motivate me to be better. You know what I'm saying? Even the guys friends that I have that are like my brothers, it's the same thing. So I definitely um believe in creating your own family. And I mean, of course, you're gonna always love your blood family, but sometimes
well,
you
you can
gotta
you
love
can make that decision
them. Right.
Mhm, mhm.
Exactly. Exactly.
because I've experienced cutting off family members just because I'm like, no, you know what? I worked for this, you didn't. I'm not giving you what I did. Like you need help,
Yeah.
come over here and help me and earn it because I'm not just going to hand it to you. So
Yeah, and a lot of people want that silver spoon. Like for me with my podcast, it's like I have to reach out to people. I am definitely like a social butterfly, but I'm like a introvert extrovert at times. But I'm like, I've been working hard on this for almost a year.
Mm.
So it's like, let me keep working hard. And other people are like, oh, I'm trying to be on this, I'm trying to do, and it's like, I'm willing to have people on here because I want to, like, grow my own brand as well. But it's like, it does take work, and I'm not gonna, if I get super successful and have the top podcast in the world, I don't need people to be there when I'm winning. I need them to be there at both,
Right.
when you're kind of starting and
Yeah.
when you're at the top. So I completely agree with you. Cutting people off, it is what it is. It's life. You have to. So
Mm.
you
How
have
it
many?
to
is
you
what
have
it
to
is.
you have to be strong enough to do it though, because some
True.
people aren't.
Yeah, true. It's hard. It's like a realm of toxic. It's like when you're used to toxic, it's hard to get out of toxic, you know? So, well, in closing, do you guys have any upcoming events? I know I watched your video the other day, and you guys were talking about the 12 days of tequila again. Are you guys doing that?
Yeah, yeah. That actually launches tomorrow. Um,
Oh, nice.
John and I did record. We did 5 recordings yesterday, so we have the first basically 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if I don't know when you're going to release this, but if you release it in the next 24 hours or so, we're coming out of the we're coming out of the box punching everybody in the mouth with something that they're just gonna be like, I can't believe you guys are giving that away. So like we're just coming out the door this time where before we're kind of like, oh, we're gonna give you a sticker, and this year we're like, nope, we're gonna come out with the big boy. It lasts 12 days, and this year is a little more organized in the sense that we launch it on Wednesday, and every Saturday, Monday, and Wednesday there'll be a giveaway and an announcement.
Okay, nice.
So
Mm-hmm.
as they win one day, then whoever wins, we announce the next prize. So
Awesome. Okay,
goes all the way till Christmas Eve. So
nice. Okay, well, I'll definitely, um, tell people about it, especially if it's tequila. People
I
love
mean, yeah.
tequila.
Tell your daddy, tell your mama, your cousin,
My
your
baby cousin,
grandma.
my granny.
Yeah.
I'll
tell
tell
Granny, because Granny will sign up. Sign me up.
I mean, especially your pops, because he likes to drink. He likes to get good tequila. So
Oh yeah, and his drink too. He really loves Grey Goose. Like,
really.
that's
Yeah.
the thing. Yeah, and he loves hurricanes. When I was out there, when we were all out there in New Orleans, I brought back so much hurricane mix for
Ugh,
him
Damn.
in my suitcase. He's like, just bring a lot. I think I got like 5 bottles.
it's so sweet. It's so
Yeah, well,
sweet.
I don't know what he does, but he adds the mixture, but he does something different, and it tastes sweet, but it's like pretty good. So
Okay.
I'm like, I don't know. He don't tell us what he do either. He's just like, just drink. We're like, all right,
Uh,
we'll drink it, whatever. All right, well,
there's a
I thank you guys so much for being on the podcast, and I just look forward to your guys' giveaway. I'm gonna be, checking in what you guys are doing, and I just appreciate you guys taking the time to be a part of this in my growth of my podcast. Thank you so much.
Oh no, thank you for having us on. Likewise, we appreciate you.
Of course. And then I'm gonna be sending you my itinerary for my trip next week or next year.
All right, bet. I got you.
All right. Well, thanks, y'all. Have a great rest of your day, and thank you everyone for listening. All right,
Thank
bye.
you, Auntie Pookie. We'll see ya.
All right, bye. Bye.